Welcome in to Outkick the Show. If you are British, this is about as devastating as a defeat can get. Positive, you won World War II. Negative, a country of 4 million just came back from what should have been a 2-0 deficit after your best goal scorer, Harry Kane, choked in close when they should have been able to put away the game. And then in extra time, a guy with one leg scored on an awkward head flick because your defense wasn't pressed forward enough. I got to tell you, that's a pretty brutal loss. Because it's one thing if you lose, and you lose because somebody did something magnificent or they put together a series of plays and you look back on it and you just say, you know what? That was an incredible individual effort. There's no way we could have stopped that goal from occurring. That goal in extra time was just a header flick, and your defense was caught napping. I don't think they anticipated that the one-legged striker from Croatia was going to be behind the defense there. The ball was perfectly flicked. Just one of those good break situations that happens throughout a game. Sometimes you're able to capitalize, sometimes you are not. That was a choke job by England. I don't think there's any other way to put it. England should have won that game. They should have advanced to play France. I was so looking forward to breaking down England versus France. I was doing all this historical research, trying to think of the biggest all-time rivalries in Western civilization. I was going to argue that England versus France was the greatest single rivalry in human history, because you look back over the 1,000 years of England and France going toe-to-toe so many different times over the years. And then what happens? England chokes it away. I think France will beat Croatia, although Croatia's got the magic slipper on right now. They've won 2 straight games in a shootout. They now have won in added time as well. They feel like they are going to be able to win. Somebody said England and France, 1,000 years. Yeah, England and France have been going head-to-head for 1,000 years. If you go back to the Norman conquest of William the Conqueror, who came in from Normandy and took over all of England, that was 1,000 years ago. Over 1,000 years ago. It's the greatest human feud, blood feud of all time. You think about all the wars that have been fought between England and France, the Napoleons, the deaths, the Duke of Wellington, all of the different things that have happened over the years. The single largest continuous feud, in my opinion, is England versus France. I was ecstatic about being able to talk England versus France. Instead, England, after going up 1-0 5 minutes in, chokes it away. By the way, if you want to gamble on the World Cup final between Croatia and France, you can go to sportsbookreview.com. You'll be glad that you did, because you will be able to get the best possible rate on whatever gambling details you would like. Now, I want to say this. I do think it's amazing when you break down Croatia as having a population that is somewhat similar to the city of Detroit. They are now advancing to the World Cup final. I got to tell you, think about that for a minute. We have 325 million people in America. Croatia has got 4 million. They're roughly the size of the Detroit metropolitan area, and they are now advancing to play for the World Cup championship. All right, the World Cup final. One of the things that really frustrates me when people talk about soccer in this country is they always say, oh, if all of our best athletes played soccer, we'd be... And what it misses is that what we don't have in America is not numbers. There are way more people who play soccer in America than play soccer in Croatia. There are also a lot of really good Croatian basketball players. In fact, somebody sent me this link because I was talking about how many great, successful Croatian athletes are. This is pretty interesting, if I'm not mistaken here. The odds of making the NBA, if you are Croatian, 1 in 35,000. That's based on the number of players that they have in the NBA from Croatia right now. Odds if you're U.S. born, 1 in 79,000. And the odds if you're a U.S. born white player are 1 in 380,000. And this is from one of my listeners. If you are a white Croatian, you are 10 times as likely to make the NBA as a white guy is in America. That's pretty remarkable. And so if you think about the amount of athleticism that exists in Croatia, one of the things that people always say is, oh, well, all they care about is soccer. Croatian basketball players advance to the NBA at much higher rates than American NBA players, and certainly they advance at much higher rates than American white players. So it's not as if everybody who's athletic in Croatia goes and plays soccer. This is just a country that, for whatever they do, I don't know what they do to develop the athletes that they have. They only have 2 million men in this country. They only have, let's say, 400,000 of them that are even of athletic age, you know, like 18 to 32 on average when most guys are playing there. It's pretty unbelievable to think about the level of success that they have had as a country. By the way, speaking of level of success, go to my friends at thehomeloanexpert.com. The Home Loan Expert, get pre-qualified, make sure that you get hooked up best way that you can, best numbers, no matter where you are in the country. You can get hooked up right now, and you will be well on your way to saving a bundle. Also, if you own a home and you want to wipe out all of your credit card debt, and you own a home, you can take advantage of your home equity line and come back in and get a brand new mortgage that wipes out all your credit card. So one of the things that frustrates me about people talking about U.S. soccer is they always try to say, oh, it's about athleticism. It's not about athleticism, it's about skill. The teams that consistently advance are much more skilled than us. They have better reps. They're much more aggressive in the way they develop their talent. And it's funny because so many good countries in soccer are socialist countries, but what they do is they take kids when they're like 12 years old and they put them in soccer academies, and if you're not good enough, they kick you out. They are brutal when it comes to refining the best possible soccer players. Our soccer players are all coached by team coaches, so you end up with high bills for a lot of rich kids who continue to play soccer. They are brutally efficient in all these other countries. Even Iceland, which has like 300,000 people, they find their talent and they put it through the Iron Wars, and they end up with what is incredible amounts of talent. So congratulations to Croatia. I took this one on the chin. I thought England was going to win with ease. England should have won this game based on the effort they had in the first half. They had an opportunity to put it away. They were drastically outplayed in the second half. They fell apart on that high kick goal, and then they were lucky not to lose it in regulation. They gave up several good opportunities, and then they fell apart on the head flick there late in extra time. So congratulations to Croatia. They're tougher. They were more physical. They were able to weather the English storm, and then they got it into added time, and that's where they've been basically unbeatable. So I think their game plan, because I know you all are sitting around saying, what does Clay Travis think about the Croatia versus France game plan? Croatia's game plan is going to be simple. I think Croatia is hoping to get it to penalty kicks. I think they're hoping to outlast France, which is going to be the more talented side, which is going to be the more athletic side, which will be more skilled side, probably, at terms of goal scorers. And they're going to hope to go 120 minutes full on and then get into penalty kicks when they have a great goalkeeper who they feel like they have a lot of opportunity to be able to score. I got to tell you this right now. England didn't create very many good opportunities. They were good in set pieces, but they were not very dynamic in terms of creating opportunities. Harry Kane should have scored with 39 minutes left in the first half to put them up 2-0. I do think that would have changed the overall outcome of the game. It's tough to give up a 2-0 lead in soccer, notwithstanding the fact that Japan did it against Belgium. But I think that probably would have been the difference maker. England would be advancing. I can't imagine how crushed all of England is right now. They really believed that they were going to advance and play France, and instead they found a way to lose. Somebody just said Croatia's fitness is on a different level. They are. I mean, you look, they basically played an extra game over England, and they looked like the fresher side. Now, England had some tough breaks. They had the injury late, so they had to play with 10 men because their guy couldn't come out, and the guy who scored the goal earlier. I can't even imagine how brutal that is to injure yourself and then have to come out of the game and know when you're coming out of the game that you have to leave behind your guys on the field and that you don't even get a sub. I mean, that's absolutely brutal to make your guys have to play against 10 men. I really wanted England on that final set piece to get a goal there, to put it into PKs just to see how wild it could be. But, man, there have been a lot of great games coming out of this World Cup, and this was another one of them. And Croatia has been involved in so many of these impeccable, unbelievable, sterling contests. And unfortunately for England, they couldn't advance to the final and take on their mortal rival, France. Yes, we sell every shirt that I wear. We sell at Outkick.com. I want to say this right now. We are in the process. I'm putting together the list of speakers for our Outkick the Weekend in Vegas. I'm about to step up and start really promoting this. Jason Whitlock is going to be there. Shannon Terry, who founded Rivals and sold it to 24/7 Sports, is going to be there. Britt McHenry is going to be there. Going to have a bunch of different local radio hosts that you probably have heard of. A lot more guests still to be announced. That's going to be at the Las Vegas Hard Rock Hotel and Casino. I'm telling you, it's going to be awesome. We've got packages for anybody who wants to come. Limited number. This is year one. I want to turn this into an annual Vegas event. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm going to start promoting it aggressively now over the next 6 weeks. It is going to be outstanding. If you are interested in sports media, gambling, my guy Todd Furman's going to be there, Kelly Stewart. We're going to have an awesome crew of people. We're going to have 4 hours on Friday of hangout, discussion, all that stuff. And then we're going to have 4 hours on Sunday. I'm telling you right now, it's going to be awesome. So it's going to be a really good collection of people from a variety of different backgrounds in sports media, gambling, and beyond. It's going to be a really good collection of people. A couple of other things I want to hit. Did you guys see the PacMan Jones fight in the Atlanta airport? If you didn't see this video, PacMan Jones got into it in an Atlanta airport with an Atlanta airport employee. I have no earthly idea how this actually managed to occur. I'm surprised it's not a bigger story, but he knocked down a bigger man. He got into a fight, and they charged the other guy with assault. I don't know what the background is. I don't know how this is like Pac-Man getting in a fight in the middle of the Atlanta airport concourse. Like, there's just a bunch of dudes, like, in the background, if you pay attention, because I watched it a bunch of different times, there's a bunch of dudes just standing at the gate in T-shirts and shorts and flip-flops. Like, what in the world's going on here? We got a full-fledged brawl that's threatening to break out. Pac-Man's girlfriend, or whoever he was with, was trying to keep him from getting into a fight. Pac-Man now, I think, is like 34 years old. How old is PacMan Jones? He's not that young to be getting in a fight in the Atlanta airport concourse with another security guard. And how in the world does a security guard there, did they have some pre-existing discord? I have no idea how in the world PacMan Jones gets in a fight in the Atlanta airport. Of all the places you would think, of all the places that you would think where you would be safe and not see a fist fight, I got to go with the airport maybe being the safest. Maybe church. Maybe church is number one on the safest, but you got to go through the metal detector. You've got all the security everywhere. You know you're going to get arrested immediately. I mean, PacMan Jones was born in 1983. He's 4 years older than me, okay? Can you imagine if I got into a fist fight at the airport? I'm 39. That means PacMan Jones is going to turn 35 this year. You're a 35-year-old dude getting in a fight at an airport. You got major issues going on in your life. This is a great example of SBAP. If you were at an airport, I don't even know what would have to happen for me to get in a fight at an airport. It would have to be a 9/11 type situation, and there'd have to be dudes trying to take over the airplane with box cutters all over again for me to get in a fight at an airport. I mean, I've been upset at an airport before, like anybody when you miss your flight, but to actually get in a legitimate fist fight, it's unbelievable. My general rule, for those of you who don't know, don't be a pussy, #DBAP. But sometimes be a pussy. If somebody wants to fight you at the airport, don't fight them. I mean, I've said this before. People are like, oh, you're a pussy. I'm 39 years old. Why, unless you're paying me millions of dollars, I'm not going to get in a fight. If you pay me millions of dollars, I will fight maybe contemplate it. Have to be millions to risk this head of hair and my brain in general, because it's all the asset that I have left at this point. But unless my family is threatened, or unless there is like a terrorist attack happening and I happen to be there and want to try to save the world, John McClane style in Die Hard 2, there's no way on earth that I would ever get in a fist fight at the airport. Now, the guy, like PacMan Jones, it's tough to defend him getting in a fist fight at the airport. It's even tougher to defend the guy who's an airport employee that gets in a fight with PacMan Jones at the airport. Can you imagine being an airport employee? He's literally wearing his airport vest, and he got into a fight with PacMan Jones at the airport. If you've ever had an excuse not to get into a fight before, it would be when you are wearing your airport security vest at the airport and it's a random dude in PacMan Jones. Like, I need to know everything about this story. Did they have pre-existing beef? Why and how did this thing arise? Was it somebody that he knew from Atlanta beforehand and he just happened to run into him at the airport? What is going on there? 35-year-old PacMan Jones. I mean, it's been a concept and a position that he's been in. And by the way, think of all the stuff that PacMan Jones has gotten into that we haven't seen. Remember, he got arrested in Cincinnati and he was in the back of the police cruiser cursing out the police officer. All of the issues that he had with the Titans, many of them on video where he got into fights. Think about how unbelievable it is of the video evidence we have of PacMan Jones. He at a strip club, he made it rain, and he got a strip club security guard shot. And I believe that strip club security guard is still paralyzed, and they've never been able to figure out who exactly did the shooting. These are all things that we know about. Most of the time, when somebody gets in trouble, we don't hear anything about them actually getting in trouble because it's a small minority of the time that you do something stupid, that it's on video, or that people find out that you've done something wrong. This is an unbelievable story. That's right. He also smacked a woman in Cincinnati because she poured a beer on him, he said. And that was on video, too. He's been on video in more altercations than any athlete, I think, of all time. And now he's in a fight at the airport. I can't believe he had as long of a career as he did. Imagine how good PacMan Jones could have been if he had just been a relatively middle-of-the-road dude in terms of his attitude. Remember, at West Virginia, he got into a bar fight with pool cues. And I've always said West Virginia University, WVU, is like Deadwood. I went up there, and I think they just bury people on the hill. If you ever watch the HBO show Deadwood, the old Western, everybody would just get buried. They just, like, throw them into the hog pen, or they just put them on a hillside somewhere. I think that's what happens in Morgantown. I think at West Virginia, people just get killed in bars all the time. They just drag them out by their boot heel, and then they just dig a hole for them on the side of a hill, and nobody ever hears about him again. And PacMan Jones went there, and he got into a bar fight with a pool cue, and we know about that. I just can't even believe all of the incidents that he's had. And he's, I think, the number 6 overall pick. Jeff Fisher was like, Pac's my guy. I mean, Pac had a bunch of issues in the locker room. He got into a fight with Albert Hainsworth. Imagine of all the people you could get into a fight with on your team. Albert Hainsworth is 6'7", 330 pounds, maybe one of the most ridiculously athletic men to ever play in the NFL. And PacMan Jones ended up in a fight with him. PacMan Jones is like 5'9", 180 pounds. Unbelievable story. Unbelievable story that PacMan Jones got into a fight. All right, I'll answer a few of your questions, then I got to bounce because it's a late start and I got to get my kids. Late start to the show because of the added time and everything that went into England versus Croatia. Congrats again to the Croatians. They may be the greatest athletes of all time. Jamel Hill is not going to be at Outkick the Weekend. I do not think that Jamel Hill is going to show up at Outkick the Weekend. Again, Outkick the Weekend, sports and gambling conference. Jamel Hill will not be there. Jamel Hill will not be at Outkick the Weekend. So far, we're going to have a really good collection of people. I'm going to start announcing all the talent, but we only have a limited number of spaces. So I'm going to start pumping this pretty heavily over the next month. You're going to hear a lot about it. You can sign up at Outkick.com. We're also going to have 8 hours of CLE. If you are a lawyer or you know somebody who's a lawyer, you get the opportunity to get all your CLE credits taken care of. Go to Outkick.com, click on the shop, and you'll be able to go in and sign up for Outkick the Weekend. Okay. And I guarantee you that you're going to have a good time. It's August I'm going to pull out my phone. I should know these dates off the top of my head. I believe it's August 24th and 25th at the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas. Friday the 24th, we're going to do event from 4 to 8. Saturday 10 to 2. We'll also have other events surrounding that. I'm telling you right now, it's going to be a lot of fun. All right. Any questions? Rapid fire here. I appreciate all of you. Going to get off a little bit early. Tomorrow, we're going to have a great show. Outkick the coverage, 6 to 9 a.m. Eastern. Friday, Stu Holden, who called this game and is going to call the World Cup finale, is going to call in with us. Should be pretty good. I think we're going to try to get John Isner on, who is now advanced. By the way, Federer loses. I feel like that totally got snowed under in all the other news that's going on. Roger Federer lost today to a guy that I've never heard of before. It's a pretty big upset, and so we've got a lot going on. Somebody just said, what about doing an Outkick event in Mississippi? Yes, we're going to be also down in Texas doing a barnstorming event. I'm trying to set up right now for the release of the book a big event in Knoxville for the Tennessee-Florida game that weekend, which I believe is like September 22nd. I believe is the Tennessee-Florida game. We're going to have a massive event in Knoxville. I think I'm going to be speaking on campus, and we're going to do a lot of other cool things surrounding that. That's going to be the official launch for the new book, which will be called Republicans Buy Sneakers 2, which will be out in September. So that's going to be awesome. If you happen to be in Knoxville or you happen to be in town going to the Tennessee-Florida game, we will have a lot of cool events surrounding the release of the book there. I'll also be in Atlanta next weekend for SEC Media Days. I'm doing the show live from the Omni Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Should be a lot of fun. Tons of great news to come in the near future. Stay tuned. But up now, Outkick the Weekend, Hard Rock Hotel and Casino in Vegas. It's going to be awesome. I'm telling you that right now. Love all of you guys. Watch out for PacMan Jones at the airport. I'll watch out for him while I'm down at SEC Media Days next week. This has been Outkick the Show. I'm Clay Travis. Pray for England. Congrats to Croatia. DBAP. But sometimes SBAP. I'll see you guys. Love you. Bye.